had talked to an old friend that actually used to be an instructor of mine at the Skip Barber Racing School as I was a student at the time. And I had made a comment that basically I missed being in the race car after I got out of the military in 2012. I've been working a full-time job, but also dealing with PTSD. And during that time, I was looking for recreational things to do. So when I made this comment to a friend, he said, well, hey, guess what? I just bought a race car. So I came up with this brainstorm of why don't we take 4 or 5 combat veterans from Iraq that I had served with and get them together to be the pit crew on the race car. The 25-hour actually was a really bad idea to do a first event for if you haven't been in a race car in 10 years, such as myself. I can relate it to what all of these guys had to do in Baghdad in 2007 during the surge. So these guys know what it's like to be out and about in harsh conditions for 30 hours with no sleep, minimal food, and for them to stay up throughout the night and to support the team is a no-brainer. The thought process for me was that if we had a group of veterans that had all been in combat together, that they could support another veteran through the trials and tribulations of a 25-hour endurance race. They're getting recreational therapy. They have that brotherhood once again, and that's something that a lot of veterans I feel are missing when they come back home. They tend to isolate. They put themselves in a position where they don't want to leave the house. They don't want to blend back into society. And I went through the same thing. I was missing being around my brothers and my brothers in arms. And so what could I do to bring them all back together? What better than at the racetrack, which is something that I have a passion for. We started talking about this at the beginning of 2016, but in all reality, we didn't actually have a car or have a vision until about 4 months ago. I believe that the reason we have a 30-man team out there in pit lane taking care of the race car and getting the vets involved is because we still have people that are patriotic. We still have people in this country that care about veterans' well-being. We're running a 2-liter 4-cylinder motor powered by Mazda. Puts out about 180 horsepower. Our budget is minuscule in comparison to those top teams. So it's pretty impressive with such a small budget, under horsepowered car compared to the bigger cars that are running 500, 600 horsepower. The fact that we're able to be competitive in a sense says a lot. My expectations for the weekend coming to the 25 Hours of Thunder Hill was to basically just get the car to finish and have the vets to have a good time. Anything beyond that would just be an added bonus. And as the race started to progress, we ended up in the top 10 early on. The attrition rate got well enough, as it always does in endurance racing, to where we ended up 6th overall and 1st in class. So beyond our wildest expectations that we would actually finish almost in the top 5. I'm speechless. Again, the fact that we put this together between August and now, the response from the vets on how well this went, it doesn't get any better. We are already in some talks with the HR department at one of the top NASCAR teams on possibly developing an employment path for the veterans to be able to get involved in the motorsports world. That's something that a veteran desires to do as far as a career from here on out. That's on the table.